All right, we're back and we're live. Like I told you guys, I just needed 10 minutes. Guess who's back? Shady's back. I don't know if you guys know that. Slim Shady. And we're live. Like I told you guys, I just needed 10 minutes. All right, guess who's back? We are back. We are back and we are live. And yeah, as you can see here, you can talk anything concerning Justice League. Anything. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll fuel that discussion. I guess the people who come on this live chat, they actually love Justice League or they love the movie. We're going to try to chat almost all day long if we have to. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is, yeah, Joanne Lewis, I'm back. Guess who's back? Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about Justice League right there. I don't know if I just adjust this thing or what. I don't know what I just did. I have no idea what I just did. Let me just check. All right, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah, man. All right, so we're talking Justice League, man. I'm about to go in about an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, all right. You do your thing. You do your thing, brother. You know what I'm saying? We need to hook up to the DCEU community, though. Just going to tweet out this thing here. Let me see if I can just... I'm tweeting out. I see you shared my video with the Flash versus Superman. I'm so happy you did that, Joanne. That's dope, man. That's some dope stuff right there. Right there. You know, we haven't talked Easter eggs for Justice League yet. What Easter egg did you see in Justice League? There's a lot of Easter eggs. That's the problem. But what Easter egg did you see in Justice League, Joanne Lewis? You know, we didn't talk about Easter eggs yet. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Shady's back. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is nice. So we know. Well, there's a bunch of Easter eggs in this movie, and there's some Easter eggs shouting out to actual people who died. David Bowie and Prince. Rest in peace to both of them. They showed up in the movie. Anybody else know any other Easter eggs, whether it's to comics or otherwise? Shout it out, man. Shout it out. Share this here. Just sharing something here on Twitter. Should have showed. There you go. There you go. Yep. Good. That's in my tweet now. There. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. All right. Now we're all talking Justice League. We all in. Yeah. Yeah, man. Don't worry about it, man. I mean, if you got to leave in an hour and 15 minutes, that's all right. That's all right. We're going to take shorter than that because I have to leave also to go see Justice League. So I got to get out of here in a minute. Yeah, so talking about Justice League, it's a lot to talk about with Justice League. You know, sometimes, you know, you prefer to show people things and then talk them. But let's talk some real fanboy stuff. What really fanboy you out? What was one of your fanboy moments when you saw that you was like, oh my gosh? You know, I like at the end when the whole entire Justice League was standing on top of that wall and you saw all of them. That was a fanboy moment for me, man. I was fanboying out so hard, you know. And anything that Batman did with his cape, how his cape moved when he jumped off a building and the cape just kind of, or when, man, he rode that car up that tower, the car hit and he flung out of the car with his chair, kind of, and parachuted down. Then he kind of just dropped out of the chair and just landed on the ground. Just the way how that cape flowed, man, and how he dodged the bullets of the parademons, just so sick, man. Everything about Batman's movements is slick, man. I was fanboying out on all of that stuff. When Wonder Woman was, you know, slashing those parademons in the air and just spinning and blocking. One of the heaviest fanboy moments was when the terrorist started spraying that machine gun and she blocked almost every single bullet, man, or pushed people out of the way. That shit that was lit. You know, yeah, there was a lot of, there was too many fanboy moments. I hear you, man. But if you had to pick one, pick one. I mean, Steppenwolf fighting the Amazons when Hippolyta says, close the gates, and then he looks at her and he says, run. Shucks, man. You know, the whole thing was so lit, man. It was lit all the way through. Superman taking on the entire Justice League and just flinging them aside, just flinging Batman like if he's a rag doll. I mean, come on now. Man, movie was lit. Yeah, Flash's face when he saw Superman was following him. It was crazy. Even the fanboy moments when the Flash races the Superman at the end of the movie, and we know that's just fan service, but it's really awesome because that's something that goes on. Everybody wants to know who's the fastest man alive. Of course, the Flash is faster than Superman, but he doesn't know about the Speed Force in the kind of way that he will learn about it later on. But it's really cool to see the Flash racing Superman. That's a fanboy's dream. I mean, come on now. A lot of fanboy moments, man. When even, you know, I'm hearing people talk about, oh, they needed that, just had the Batmobile. The Nightcrawler was sick, man. That thing was just climbing up the walls like a spider. You know, I thought that was kind of cool too. And the Nightcrawler looks like a bat. Like that's how a bat would move, you know. So I thought that was really cool as well. You know, Totopoulos did an excellent job of bringing that bat motif into everything. You know, whether it's the Nightcrawler, whether it's the Batwing, whether it's the Batmobile. You know, I thought it was really sick. Batman, man. Batman is the joint. Get a little bit crazy, but he's the joint. You know, Batman's voice is epic in this movie. Cyborg, man. How he shot Steppenwolf. He didn't even look at him. He just shot him as he was, you know, trying to split those mother boxes open. It was just sick. Man, that whole movie was lit. That whole movie was lit. That movie was lit. You know, and I even saw some guys like Jody on I don't know if you know Jody's channel. He's talking about that's the Superman he wanted to see and everything. I thought that was just so sick, so cool, man. You're talking about, yeah, the Flash running too was sick. It was nice to see the Flash running. You know, he moves like a lightning bolt. You know what I'm saying? It just moved real fast and everything, you know? Oh my gosh, man. They got those characters so on, man. You know, and Aquaman. You know, when Mira controlled the water, you saw when she just kind of like slapped the water, everything just went, you know, oh man, it makes like their powers seem so real. Like you could see something like that happening. I don't know how people could say the underwater event with Aquaman wasn't, it wasn't, they say it was like CGI-ish and it looked boring and stuff. I'm like, dude, have you ever been in the sea? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, you be right back. You do that, man. I don't understand, man. I just don't get it. Like that stuff looked like they were underwater. You know what I mean? They were in the sea. So I mean, I was like, what are you talking about, man? What are they talking about? Man, so dope, so dope, so dope. Yeah, peoples. So what did I come back to do? Well, I came back to basically tell you guys some of the ways and means and how we can work together here. So one of the things is to network and form a group on Twitter. Twitter is a very active group. And I'm right now up on Twitter here. Let me show you guys what it looked like. So let me go on Twitter here and show you what you should be seeing on Twitter. Right? So this is Twitter here. So the next thing you want to do on Twitter, if it's me, you want to get in contact with me, right? I'm a musician, a promoter, a healthcare provider, and that kind of stuff. And what you basically can do is you can do a search for groups on Twitter. So, for instance, I could go right here. I can go into groups. These are the people I actually linked up with, which should be here in my follower section, or the people I'm following, actually. They could be either way. And as you can see here, this is Lewis right here, who is Joan Lewis, J. Lewis. And he's Zandrel Silverbane. And as you can see, he likes Batman. So he got a Batman v Superman logo right here. And then you got the Justice League up on top of here looking all cool and everything. And basically, when you link up with people, right? I think come back here. Got 2 notifications. What are these notifications, first of all? Because I'm not used to Twitter like that. Oh, okay, here he is. He liked a reply to you. Okay, cool. Let me see what this is about. At Philip Anson, Jamie Norwood. This is Betty, I think. msharkclean.com technology duo. Shark dual clean technology, upright and ultralight vacuums. Oh, cool. As we rented the vacuum cleaner head available and upright. Okay, so this wasn't anything particularly to do with the Justice League. I'm still gonna like the tweet, even though it really got nothing to do with me. But if I want a vacuum cleaner, I guess Jamie Norwood got that. Cool, man. Nice networking and everything. All right, shout out to you, Jamie Norwood. Oh, that's what you sent me for. Okay. 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 I see you. I see you. I see you 3 times. All right. Cool. 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 Right. So these are the people that are following me at present. They're the most recent people. Cool. How do we form a group? That's what I want to know. So here we have the Justice League movie. I thought I was following that already. Nope. Now I am. There's Warner Brother Pictures right here. All right. Cool. Let me see what's up now. I'm following Justice League the movie. Go back to home. Okay, here we are. So what you can do, one of the things you can do is you can tweet out the Justice League stuff. So for instance, how do you tweet it out? You just do like this, hit this button, boom. And this will allow me to retweet this. But this is a monthly movie, so check it out. Boom. So all my followers, with 109 followers or whatever they are, they will see that and they'll check it out. Some of them will check it out, some of them won't. Dope. Nice. Am I on the Justice League page? No, I'm on my page. Okay, so let me click on the Justice League movie site here. See, some guy was saying is lit. It's now playing there, like that. So what you basically could do is you link up to the main movie place, and in there you'll see a lot of people who are fans of the movie, and you just click on them, and that's how you find new people. You click on them, you talk with them, and then you do what they do, promote the movies. You put the tweets up on there, and they will meet their people, and so on. That's one way of doing it on Twitter, right? On Facebook, you can join Facebook groups as well. And again, interface with the people in the Facebook groups. If some certain people are saying, I'm disappointed with the movie and stuff, you say, oh, well, I can understand that. You probably was expecting this and this and this and this from the trailers and this and this. Cool. But here what? You should really have a second look at that movie. And once people start to see value in things, once they start to see how good this stuff actually is, they actually they begin to realize how good the stuff is. This is my favorite Justice League member, Cyborg. You know, he's not the most powerful, but man, he can connect a whole bunch of stuff. This guy, he gave a lit reaction there. See, he was like, Justice League is so good, loved every bit of it. Now, this is kind of cool to see this positive energy here. I finished watching Justice League. It was amazing. I love Wonder Woman. I love Ezra Miller as the Flash. So, you know, there's all that positive energy right there on this page. That goes a long way, folks. It goes a long way. And this was only 23 hours ago. So, man, look at that. People giving some positive responses. User tested, approved. Use the Justice League GIFs on Tanner. I dig it. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, man. So that's what you can do. That's what one of the things you can do when it comes to this movie. All right, let me come out of this real quick. Boom. All right, we're back. All right. So yeah, the Justice League movie, man. What more can I say about this movie? There's a lot of Easter eggs in the Justice League movie. Do you guys know some of the Easter eggs? My next favorite scene is the Steppenwolf versus Superman. Just so funny that it's Superman from the animated series right there, and people tend to forget because they want Reeve Superman. Exact man, you and me see eye to eye, bro. Exactly, exactly. That's JLA Superman. That's Superman the animated series Superman. That's the big, powerful Superman that when he punched like Doomsday or Darkseid or one of those guys, they punch way up into the sky and stuff. That's not Christopher Reeve Superman. Christopher Reeve Superman was more campy for starters, and this Superman obviously wasn't campy. He was like more literal, and I think Christopher Reeve Superman. What made him so women liked him and everything was he'd break into a smile as if he was gonna laugh, as if he was amused at mankind, and he'd be coy. This Superman's not coy. He ain't trying to be. He ain't trying to be campy either. You know what I mean? He's a Boy Scout. You can see that he's a straight shooter, but he ain't trying to be coy. So I like him. I like Henry Cavill's representation. And the only thing I think where Superman, and it wasn't trying to be funny, he really wasn't trying to be funny, was where he said, I take it back, I wish I was dead. And then he starts to laugh heartily as Cyborg's like, man, the pain in this thing, and Superman's still rolling over in pain. It's not like Superman gets up and he's fine. No, he's still rolling over in pain after that blast, So I don't know what people are talking about. And some people say, this thing's like a comedy fest. And I'm like, comedy fest? Are you serious? Are you that mopey a person? Like, come on, man. This movie wasn't a comedy fest in any way, shape, or form. Reeve Superman, from what I remember, he's a diplomat. While this Superman, and even JLU Superman, he's doing the right thing no matter what. Exactly. That's another thing. That's right. And the world had accepted that Superman, JLA Superman on JLU, Justice League Unlimited and Justice League Animated Series, and even Superman the Animated Series. The world kind of embraced him. Whereas this Superman, he didn't automatically get embraced by the world. The world's kind of coming to terms with embracing him, but they still haven't fully embraced him yet. You know what I'm saying? I think what they're mistaking is when Superman picked up the building and he was carrying it, it reminds you of Christopher Reeve Superman in that respect. But in terms of personality, in terms of his powers, in terms of how he came back, nah, he's not Christopher Reeve Superman at all. Henry Cavill Superman is distinctly different. It's just that the world's kind of reacting to these superheroes a little bit different. And not really, because that family, the girl was just watching in a perplexed state. She was just, that kind of harkens back to the first Superman movie where they was staring at Superman after everything happened. I was like, I can't believe what just happened, right? So that's the feeling you get, because out of the clear blue, this guy just appears out of nowhere. And he's like, just hold on to here, and I'm going to push you to safety. And it just, you know what I'm saying? It will leave you astonished. Everybody would just be like, you have that, like, what just happened there? Still trying to process things. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where they were coming from with this movie. And I just don't think the superheroes, and I still think that the world is going to still have a problem getting to terms with them. It's still coming to terms with them. This is why I want to see a follow-up to this Justice League movie, because I still think narcissism is there to some extent, and it's still going to take some rebuilding of hope, so that whatever sequel to this movie is, I think some of that's going to come into play in the movie, But I like that Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder, they pretty much tried to find an area that wasn't populated a whole lot by a lot of people. Even in this scene, Darkseid, Steppenwolf is somewhere outside of that place. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so you also talked about Barry not knowing the Speed Force. I think he does talk to Bruce about his speed, and he talks about it slowly. No, he knows about the Speed Force, and he even mentions the Speed Force in the movie. But I think he doesn't know about the Speed Force to the extent where, he has crossed a certain barrier where he can go through time. He can travel through time. He hasn't actualized that yet. He's still kind of young, and he's still learning about the Speed Force. But he talks about the Speed Force to Batman. He talks about it when he's coming out eating the pizza, And you know what's another interesting thing about Barry Allen? And it makes sense. Barry Allen uses so much energy and he moves so fast that he has to, his metabolism is ridiculous. So he has to keep eating all the time. I thought that was a wonderful introduction there because I never thought about it. If you're super fast, it means you're burning a lot of energy, which means you're going to have a high metabolism, which is why Barry Allen has a problem with brunch. Brunch could be life or death to him. He can't stand in a line for 1 hour. He needs something to eat before, every couple of minutes. So I thought that was very interesting, really. And even when Barry talked about his blood glucose being low in the middle of an argument, Bruce kind of understood him and he was like, okay, go to Alfred in the pantry, see what he can do for you and come back here. Barry Allen's, he's hyperactive. It's kind of like, if you think about it, because I'm a scientist, right? So when we look at lab rats, right? If you take a lab rat, its metabolism is ridiculously high. You could scare a lab rat and its heart rate can go up so high that they actually die from a heart attack because their metabolism is so fast and their heart rate is so high that these animals could actually die from a heart attack. And Barry Allen, he's no different. He's got high metabolism. And you notice Barry Allen, he's easily surprised or scared. When Cyborg appeared on the scene, he jumped. He was the one that jumped. It makes sense. So even from a scientific perspective, Barry seems to follow into that mode. I tell you, man, these guys do a lot of their homework on these characters, which reminds me, I should go into the mythological origins of a lot of things. But I'll do that some other time. And we'll deal with the Easter eggs when it's really time. Joan Lewis. I think Batman was a combination between the 66 Batman and the, what is this? TAS? What's TAS? Batman with a bit of Affleck humor. TAS, what's TAS? Help me out here. Oh, okay, my bad. TAS, what's TAS? I'm not too sure what TAS is. The what? The animated series Batman. Oh, yeah. I didn't see. No. I didn't. The 66 Batman is a detective. I give you that. But I'm not quite sure how he's like Adam West Batman. In what way is he like Adam West Batman in your opinion? MC80s Entertainment says, what were your thoughts on Batman and Justice League? My thoughts? That's Batman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are saying, oh, he's kind of jokey Batman, and Batman doesn't do certain things like be an asshole, and Bruce Wayne doesn't be an asshole. Well, let me make it abundantly clear to you guys. Bruce Wayne is an asshole, okay? Bruce Wayne, when he's training with Robin, and he doesn't even have his mask on, he pushes Robin to the limit. He pushed Diana to the limit. So Diana pushed him and slammed him into, she just pushed him. I mean, she didn't even try to push him, and she pushed him, and he slammed into the platform where the machine that carries them, the carrier, was. And I'm gonna say this: Bruce Wayne is an asshole. Bruce Wayne is insensitive. Okay, Bruce Wayne is a dude who he's got very little humanity in him. He's a detective. He has some compassion for criminals in some ways, kind of empathize with them. Bruce Wayne doesn't know how to talk to people. Even when he was the leader of Robin and the guy who was Nightwing, Robin and Batgirl, Bruce Wayne had no compassion. He's ruthless. He's very he pushes you, and he's hard all the time. So that's just the way Bruce Wayne is, and that's what we saw in Justice League, in my opinion. And then when I look at, even when he talks about it may be temporary to Commissioner Gordon, he was dead serious about that, And then when he said, I'm not the one that carried the pitchfork, that wasn't, he's insulting. He's good at insulting people. Bruce Wayne and Batman, they are insultive. They're guys who are tough. They're tough guys. Really, they're not tough, really, through and through. And it was funny when when Superman said, I thought that you didn't bring me back because you like me. Bruce Wayne kind of breaks up. That was kind of funny. But again, Bruce Wayne's not trying to be funny, right? Adam West, 66 Batman. I never really seen it. Adam West was a different kind of Batman, in my opinion. He was very campy. He was very wacky. He was kind of clumsy at times, and he was very preachy. He was like, "Gee whiz, Batman!" And he would say, "Well, Robin, we must look both ways before we cross the street." He was more like Superman, actually. He was a Boy Scout, kind of like, you know. So the 66 campy Batman was more of a Boy Scout. He obeyed the rules, and he was in good league with Commissioner Gordon, and he got a pass so he could hunt down vigilantes. You know, the 66 Batman goes against everything that Batman is. Somehow it worked. I don't know how. I guess people liked it and they laughed, and it was wacky at the time. And at the time, I think in the 60s, we had all of these different movements happening and the hippies. So this movie actually played against all of that. But the animated Batman is definitely ruthless, and Kevin Conroy, and again, gruff. And that's the Batman I see. He's like Kevin Conroy's Batman, but a little bit more further. You know, he's killing parademons, shooting them down, taking them out. And Batman, in my opinion, Batman, he wasn't jokey. I didn't see him as jokey in this movie. I saw him as having to he was in a challenge to try and persuade people to join a team, which was very difficult. Batman has never really, just imagine, we've only seen Batman have to do this in the comic books and not much in the comic books. So in a way, Zack Snyder is tackling another subject which is new to us all. We see Superman in the real world, which is our world. That's what Man of Steel and BVS and even this Justice League movie does. And now we see Batman in BVS have to deal with the darker side of him. The only time we've seen this was in the comics with Death in the Family and The Man Who Laughs and that kind of stuff. So now Zack Snyder comes next, and he brings now Batman as a hopeful Batman. And this hopeful Batman, here's his problem. His dilemma is he's not good at working with other people. He works on his own. Now he has to force himself to work with other people. And on top of that, he has to convince them. It's not like he's going to force himself and push them to the limit. Remember, when he started working with Robin, he pulled him out from the first Robin. He pulled away from the you call that thing? What do you call that thing? Circus, right? He pulled him out of a circus because his parents were killed. The second Robin, his parents were criminals and stuff. They got killed. He pulled him away. Batgirl, he took her under his wing. Again, he did that, right? They didn't really have much of a choice. They were orphans, and he kind of adopted them. In this case, Batman has to convince people, adult people, to come on board with him, and he's not good at doing that. He's an asshole straight through, you know, and he pushes people to their limits. The only person who just jumped on board with him was the Flash. And Diana, he's so proud, he doesn't even want to call Diana. And he's trying to get Alfred to call Diana. It's so funny. So to me, this Batman is Batman. Okay? And even at the end of the movie, Batman's very analytical and he's very logical. That's Batman. And he always looks for the most logical solution. And you can see he's a good detective because he divorces himself from his emotions. And he mostly deals with analytical things. And that's Batman, okay? He's an asshole at times, but he really gets past that to just try to get the bare facts. He doesn't try to be emotional about anything. That's the Batman you got, all right? Now, some of the circumstances may look comical, but Batman's dead serious about everything he's saying in this movie. You know, he's not trying to be funny, you know? So, no, I thought we got the Batman. That's Batman, okay? That's as Batman as you can get. More Batman, I think, than everybody's praising, you know, Christopher Nolan's Batman. Yeah, Christopher Nolan's Batman, man. Oh, my God. He's, especially the Bruce Wayne of him. He's not Batman, okay? And while this Batman that we see here, when he's Bruce Batman's not that, but he has problems with drinking. He has problems with womanizing. He's still a playboy, but in a much more serious sense. He's an older Batman too. I found this very intriguing because this Batman, when we see him, and oh god, he sounds like Batman. Oh my goodness, when he's Batman, not Bruce Wayne. When he's Batman, that dude sounds creepy. I mean, he sounds like Batman. This is what I wanted for Batman. You know, every time I hear him, you know, it's like, you know, he's like, save one person. You know, it's scary. He's really scary. He's not, you answer to me. What the hell is that? Like, that's somebody trying to be bad? What's that? So, you know, I don't know. People defend Christopher Nolan's Batman. It's good for what it was, but never did I think that was Batman. MC 80s Entertainment. Is this Marvel Comics 80s Entertainment? Batman is more open than normal, and not that secretive, so it's understandable in his current situation, which goes against his base personally. That's true, but he was Batman he basically is Batman to those people because he's revealed himself to them. The common guy, he's just this legend. Nobody really sees him, you know, but because he has to reveal himself to these guys, you know, and these guys, when he reveals himself to them, they're like Aquaman. Aquaman's all the way up in, you know, the freezing cold. He's up, you know, he's in no man's land almost. This colony of people that's cut off from the world. So, you know, he tells Aquaman he's Batman, and Aquaman's like, you really dress up like a bat? So when Aquaman finally sees him dressed up like a bat, he laughs. He's like, dresses like a bat. I could dig it. It was really funny. It was really funny. I gotta give you. He laughed at him as he looked at Batman. Batman's like, you know, he said, it looks like you could work well with others. And Batman's like, it could be temporary. It's funny, but he really means what he's saying. You know what I mean? It's funny, but you know, and that's the thing with Batman. Even when you look at Batman's what fights he picks with people, he picked to fight parademons. He gave the whole Justice League to go fight Steppenwolf. He knew logic. Again, he's a smart guy with Alfred. He knew he's no match for Steppenwolf. He's not even going to go in there. When he had the Nightcrawler and he was shooting down the parademons, he said, I forgot to bring my sword, which makes sense. Again, you know, if you go back to the Michael Keaton Batman, Michael Keaton also deals with the Joker the same way. He talks, and it's funny, but he means exactly what he says. You know, where he says to the Joker, what did he say for the Joker, man? I can't remember what he said to the Joker, but it was funny, you know. And that's the thing with Batman. Batman says things, and you know what's the thing about Batman that I like the best? Batman, he's got cojones, man. He got balls. He will go into something, he's outclassed, he's outpowered, and yet he's going to give you lip for it. He's going to call you a son of a bitch, son of a bitch. As the parademons are ripping up his Batmobile and destroying it, he's like, son of a bitch. I can see him saying, come on, motherfucker, come on. I can actually see Batman say something like that as the parademons are coming down on him and just encasing him, you know, because he's like an animal. Batman's kind of more beast than he is human. That's why Bruce Wayne said Superman's more human than I am, because he's lost his humanity almost. And it was he just holds on to a thread of humanity, because everything he did is because his parents died, and everything he does he doesn't have Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's just a cover. Everything he does is to basically execute vengeance, execute justice, cold, hard justice on criminals, scare them shitless. You know, that's Batman. If you ever read the very first Batman comic, which was in 1940, was it 1940, I think? The very first Batman comic, he says his intention is to scare the bejesus out of criminals. Batman's greatest tool is fear, and he's literally trying to intimidate a parademon. How the fuck are you going to intimidate a parademon? Excuse my French. You know, Batman, like, he's that kind of dude. And if you read the comics with Infinite Crisis, I think it is, Literally, Batman comes face to face with Darkseid, and in the animated series as well, Batman plays poker with Darkseid. He's not afraid of Darkseid. The dude's not afraid of Darkseid. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about Batman that is interesting. He's not, his humanity is very, very small. He has little bits of humanity in him, and he holds on. He doesn't really hold on to it, but he kind of keeps that balance, you know, because he does care about people. He just doesn't know how to say it. He always comes out as a prick, as an asshole, you know. Let's see here. Batman is more open than normal and not that secretive, so it's understandable that his current situation, which goes against his base personality. Yeah, right, Joe and Lewis. MC80s and today. Thanks for your thoughts on Batman. One of the favorite scenes, actually, the open credit scenes that played the song everybody knows. The scene felt very much like Watchmen. Watchmen's a little different. Watchmen's about the heroes and them being shown their flaws and faults, like, you know, the Silk Spectre, who, not Silk Spectre, the other lady who's a lesbian, this guy who's killing people in wars, you know, another guy, he goes crazy and that kind of stuff. So it's tragic, but it's, everybody knows that scene is a follow-up of Superman's death. It's a follow-up of Superman's death, and it's actually literally showing our world. It's not, there's no metaphors in it, there's no heroes in it. Literally showing how our world is decaying and how things still remaining the same even after Superman came on the scene. Even when Superman was here, even when before he was here, things were like that. When he was here, things were shaken up a bit. And it was, you know, people were hating him and some of them were loving him because he was changing up the status quo. And when he left, things were starting to revert back to what they were. But it was getting even worse because now there was this imminent threat, what in the song is called the plague, where things are getting even worse now. Now we're looking at an invasion. So it's not bad only that we have a naked man and a naked woman, and this guy is unfaithful to the woman. But now we got to deal with something even bigger than that. So that's what the song was alluding to. And then in that little clip, we see the guy who's the kind of so-called homeless guy who's saying, "I tried." You know, those guys generally talk about the end of the world kind of thing. In other words, it's a foreshadowing tone showing you how dark things are getting, and that mankind is heading down that road to the dark precipice. And it's really reminiscent of today. If you think of today, politically, socially, and otherwise, things seem to be heading down the precipice to darkness. And the thing about the song is it has dual meaning. Yes, Batman, 1939. Thank you very much for correcting me. Superman was what, 1938? Anyway, yeah, so, you know, there's this downward spiral in society today, and that song is so reflective of it. There's not even much imagery to it. It's like just literally describing what's happening now. And if you listen to the songs, I was going through the songs in my other spoiler part, the first part of this thing, discussion 3, you know, I was trying to show you guys what it was actually saying, you know. And Zach speaks in dual tone, in dual language. Oh, Superman came out in 1937. Thank you very much, Joe and Lewis. Yeah, so I'm just saying, you know, there's a lot going on with a Zack Snyder movie, even in the movie itself with the characters, because we pay attention a lot to the characters. The movie's basically around the characters mostly, not so much extended around everyday life scenes, even though they did include the scientists in there, and then they did include the family in Russia. And I thought the Russia was an interesting place that Zack Snyder and they decided to have the infiltration happen. And it makes sense if you think about the political situation in the world today, what the CIA and FBI said, and just so many different things about even what's happening with Russian people versus their government. The government of Russia, I don't want to go into too much politics, but the government of Russia is entitled called a democracy, but there's a lot of people getting killed there, and a lot of scientists and a lot of legal minds and stuff like that. So it's just really interesting how, and even religious people now are being kicked out of the country. Jehovah's Witnesses have been sort of moved out and stuff. So I'm just saying that like Zack Snyder's alluding to all those things. It's not an observation, it's a statement he's making. Like Zack Snyder's a very bold director, y'all. He's really bold. He makes some very bold statements. He calls things what they are. It's a very opinionated film. And that's why I don't understand why these leftist people who are critics are actually back. They actually pan the film. I don't get it. I mean, this film has so much in it. It's not funny, you know. And a lot of metaphors in this film. I haven't really gone through all the metaphors. I kind of haphazardly went through things, but I'll have an organized video visualizing. You will see what I'm talking about when I put together what I'm putting, so you guys can get it in one go. And it'll be about 4 minutes long. Each video will be about 4 minutes, 5 minutes long. You will understand the nutshell of what's going on in this movie in a very powerful, impactful way. But when I talk about these things, you know, they say, don't talk about something, show people, because showing is much more powerful. But man, that is from the comics. Oh, wait, hold on. Thanks for your thoughts on Batman. One of the favorite scenes actually is the open credit scene. Yeah, that's MC80's Entertainment. Yeah, and let me tell you, that opening credit scene, actually it was potent because first we saw Superman being interviewed by little kids. The hippo joke wasn't funny, but he said something very deep about hope being a river, the symbol on his chest, you know, being a river. And that was deep. And then the little boy asked, what's one of the best things about planet Earth? And he never answered. And then we go straight into, I think we go straight into, Batman. Batman's the next guy. And that makes sense because Zack Snyder comes from one topic to the next. So we see Superman died, which is what translates from that interview. And then we go straight into Batman and he's chasing down a criminal, right? And right after that, we see Justice League in the form of a flag, as if it's the United States flag floating there. Zach is crazy. And then we go into the song, Everybody Knows, and we see Superman has died. And that song provoked tears to me. It still cuts me to the core when I hear it, because you feel the betrayal, you feel the sadness, you feel the loss, you also feel the downward spiral that we're heading in. And it's a lot. It's very potent, very powerful. And just in the light of Autumn Snyder dying, oh man, that must be heavy for Zach. So I feel it for everybody. I mean, I feel it for his family. I feel it for everyone. And like I said before, I was one who was sort of suicidal myself at a certain point in time. So I can understand a bit about what goes through a suicidal person's mind. And I never thought I would be suicidal as a person, but you can give into depression in such a way that it can happen. So anybody can take their life. Anybody, given the right situations, given the right pressures put upon you, yeah, you could kill yourself. It can happen to anyone. So I just thought that, yeah, the beginning scene is more about us as humanity, where we're heading right now. And it was so important that Bruce was inspired. If Bruce or Batman wasn't inspired, and notice Clark never speaks to Batman as Batman. He always speaks to him as Bruce. And Bruce always speaks of Superman as Clark. Have you ever noticed that? And notice that at the end of the movie, Bruce was very concerned that Clark was okay. And the first word that came out of his mouth was Clark when he recovered from the blast. So there's a lot going on there, you know. Joan Lewis says, that's from the comics. Batman literally stated, out of everyone in the world, Clark is more human than all of us. It's a great line. Yeah, he acknowledges that. He acknowledges his shortcomings. That's why he told Alfred, you know, the world needs Superman, the team needs Clark, you know. And when Clark shows up, man, it's a totally different dynamic. When Clark shows up to defend the team, man, that's where the tables turn. Before that, they were struggling with Steppenwolf. They were struggling with him to defeat him. And yeah. Joan Lewis says, it goes back to the comics. They are stupid, silly pictures for kids, and they don't know jack squat. Or the comic fans who are critics don't know jack squat either and have too much expectations. expectations. Yeah, I mean, the real comics I knew when I was growing up in the 90s, the 80s, the 2000s. The real comics, man, they said a lot about our world. In fact, superheroes in the comics were seen as pests at a certain point in time. You know, they were seen as pests. They were seen as problems in society. Laws were passed. So that's why Watchmen is interesting, because Watchmen was a deconstruction of the superheroes, but it also led to the question: if superpower beings really were on the earth among us and we can control them, what would we do? We would want to get rid of them because we'd be afraid of them, you know? So it makes sense. I mean, everybody wants to be a superhero, but everybody doesn't want a superhero to be around them, controlling things and doing certain things and executing certain things. We don't really want that because it's intimidating. And so BVS covered that. That's what I used to read in the comics. So I was happy to see this come to life. Justice League actually deals with that as well. And notice, it's still careful in how it deals with it, because these superheroes have to come out the shadows, do their thing, and go back into the shadows. And then when they finally do start to come out the shadows, Wonder Woman coming out the shadows and interacting with mankind, notice they don't show all the other superheroes doing the same thing. They only show her. They show Cyborg getting repaired, but whether the world knows that Cyborg exists or not is still in the question. The Flash is racing Superman. Superman is obviously made himself available to the world, so the world knows he's around. But what is happening with Clark Kent, I don't know. It's open-ended. Aquaman is going back to Atlantis, so I don't know if the world knows about Aquaman yet, but he's going back to Atlantis to deal with that world, which is interesting. And who else we have? We talked about Wonder Woman, Batman. Well, Batman's with Clark. You see Batman's with Clark, and he's trying to help out Clark and stuff. And you know what's another cool thing? I didn't talk about these Easter eggs, but did you see Clark was wearing the original Superman jacket? Do you guys realize that? That's a shout out again back to the original Superman, which is what Zack Snyder had planned to do from the get-go, because we were seeing that over and over. The Flash was wearing that color design, but Superman's literally wearing the actual shirt that the original Superman was wearing, which I thought was just so cool. That's dope stuff, man. I never liked how they talked about BVS deconstructing their superheroes, but didn't it give a different layer to Superman and Batman and even Wonder Woman, and them not being heroes but people? I don't think it deconstructed. That's what I'm trying to tell. I always keep on telling people, BVS was not a deconstruction of superheroes. Watchmen was. But BVS is actually what I read in the comics. If you ever read The Dark Knight, gosh, I think it's The Dark Knight Returns. And then I forgot, there's a number of Dark Knight novels by I forgot his name too. Wow, that's crazy. I just blanking out, drawing a blank. But no, and even like I told you before, you know, where they talk about false heroes or false gods, that was in The Man Who Laughs with Superman and Green Lantern. This guy was killing a lot of people because who was it? Was it Green Lantern? I think Green Lantern had caused a big fire when he was chasing down a superhero, and he didn't stop the fire, and a lot of people lost their property and stuff. And this guy got angry. What was the guy's? I forgot what his name was in the story. This is in the comics. This stuff, everything that Zack Snyder's pulling from, is from the comics. How Superman kind of moved away from mankind. That's in Kingdom Come. That's in some of the earlier Superman comics where he's on trial. All of this stuff is in the comics. It's not a deconstruction of the superheroes because it's actually been covered in the comics. And that's what a lot of people don't know. And so, again, these people don't know comics. They don't know the comics. They don't know anything about that stuff. And I've done enormous videos on BVS. I'll do a lot of videos on Justice League as well. But there's so many comparisons between Justice League, the animated series, and this Justice League movie. Like I was asking you guys about Easter eggs, and I just told you one about the shirt that goes back to Superman 1975. but there's a whole bunch others here. And then there's all the symmetry with Lewis and Clark and all of that stuff. It's just crazy, man. It'll take me a while to unpack all this stuff and actually construct some really nice videos for you guys, but it's there, man. It's all there. Oh, it's 3:03, man. I gotta go. Justice League, it shows them realizing their potential and becoming heroes again. It goes back to Lewis' narrative. It's all a full circle. Well, actually, let me put it to you this way. It helps in this movie. It's crazy. It's so hard for me to. Okay. In BVS, there was the rebirth of the hero in Batman. Batman was going down the road of destruction, and he was reborn by Superman. Okay, the rebirth of the hero. The birth of heroes started in Justice League with Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg were rebirthed. They were not rebirthed. They were birthed. Okay, Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg were birthed in that movie. All right. In a way, it's almost like the three of them got a mini origin film. Wonder Woman had her origin film, and she was birthed right there. Man of Steel, Superman had his origin film. He was birthed. We haven't had an origin film for Batman, but we saw his rebirth. We saw him get rebaptized as a hero, okay, and be heroic and hopeful and that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, the senior members, their circles are closed, meaning they have come full circle. And it's nice when their circles close off, they're able to help the younger three Trinity, which is Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, begin theirs. So this movie is so sick in the sense that it's not just about heroes actualizing their potential, but it's also about heroes being born. Zack Snyder's film did two things. Again, it's a Zack Snyder film, and that's what people just don't get, how detailed and how sick Zack Snyder is, because that's how life really is. When my circle is closing off, I am an inspiration and a mentor to somebody else so that their circle can begin. The Flash, he was mentored by Batman. Cyborg was mentored by Wonder Woman, and Aquaman was mentored by both of them. And then when Superman came on the scene, Batman got inspired even more. And notice Superman didn't stay with them. He was just there to give inspiration, and then he went off to save some people. And then he came back to help finish the job. He helped Cyborg separate the mother boxes. I love this ending. I love it. I don't care if Joss Whedon did a lot with it. I actually love this ending. I think I might love it more than Zack Snyder's ending, which will be probably almost the same thing, but just with a lot more detail. Like you'll find out that Cyborg was having to make a decision between aligning himself with Steppenwolf on these mother boxes and separating the mother boxes. I think there's a little bit more to the story than meets the eye, and they cut out some of it. But I'm still going to like this because this ending is kind of concise. It's like gets to the point. Okay, let's get to the point with this thing. So it's a more get to the point kind of way, and I think a lot more casual fans will like this than the extended version of the ending, which will be grander, it'll be better, it'll be more flushed out, more well explained. But yet at the end of the day, it reaches to the same destination. You know what I mean? So you can cut out all the fluff and just get to the destination. And I think there's something about collaboration. I love that Whedon collaborated with Snyder. I love that Snyder was working with Whedon behind the scenes, and we didn't even know that. And I love that Whedon actualized Zack Snyder's vision. And the other thing is people still are pushing this narrative that there was a black suit in this movie. And I got evidence to show that it wasn't. You look at the behind the scenes footage, first of all, you see Superman was in a blue suit. And then the other thing that makes it very that debunks that is the fact that if you go and you watch at Hot Toys figures, we saw that Superman was in that same blue suit that we saw here. This blue suit right here. Hold on. And you know what? I'm going to show you guys evidence, but I got to be careful what I do because they actually flag these things. But you know what? I'm not going to show it. You guys go look for it, right? Superman with the Justice League, when you see him, he's in this blue suit, a light blue suit. And when you look at the Hot Toys Superman, which is going to sell like fire, because Superman showed up as Superman, man. Oh my gosh, he looks good. It's Hot Toys right here. Show me the Superman, man. There's all kinds of Superman. Okay. I don't know. Because remember, Superman's suit kept on getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So Superman and Man of Steel had the darkest suit. Then Superman and BVS had a lighter suit. And now Superman in Justice League, he has the lightest suit of them all. And it looks really fantastic, man. So, yeah. I mean, man, I love this movie for so many reasons. But I got to get out of here right now, guys. I got to go see Justice League right now. I'm going to go into the cinema, try and get my ticket. Hopefully I can get a 2D ticket to this movie. And I'm going to go watch it right now, man. And also, I advise you guys to go check it out as well. Superman, I know a thing or two about truth, but I'm all about justice. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, he knows a thing or two about truth, because when Steppenwolf is talking about truth, he's talking about it in the context of power, full power. And Superman's like, I know a thing or two about truth, meaning I know a thing or two about power, but I'm all about justice. I use the power in a correct way. And then he just starts to whip Steppenwolf's ass. I mean, he puts a beat down on that dude as if he was nobody. And that's again because Superman's got that extra strength from those mother boxes. The mother box gave him extra strength as well. So it'd be interesting to see if Superman goes bad or dark at some point because of Darkseid and mother boxes and Cyborg, if Cyborg goes dark too, because Cyborg has this extra entity inside of it. It's very intriguing, man. It's very intriguing. Yeah, so oh, just one more thing, but I don't know if this guy dipped in or he dipped out. Yeah, man, I gotta go, guys. I'm really sorry, I gotta go. But MC80s Entertainment, shout out to you. Joe and Lewis, shout out to you, brother. It's nice to see you two guys here. We're gonna do more videos. Don't worry, we're gonna do more videos. We're gonna have a discussion of this. Probably when I come back, we'll discuss. Yeah, I'm gonna go see this movie right now, bro. And if I find some other people, I'm gonna invite them to go see the movie too, because I've been basically going to see this movie by myself a number of times. I go and talk with people in the cinema, but I mainly went to see it by myself. And I think this movie is loaded. Tell me, Joe and Lewis, did you get all of that value that you got in BVS in this movie? Because I did. I got, and it was a continuity of BVS for sure. I love Wonder Woman's background, that she was, you know, she still was afraid and apprehensive to lead, and she finally ends up leading in this movie. And she's not afraid to come out the shadows and show people so they can have hope. Because again, what I liked about this movie is it's a symbol of hope to people. Even in the real world, where we deal with real circumstances and real things, we can be proactive about it. Worth every penny. Absolutely, man. Even if this movie was spoiled for me, I think, well, nah, I don't think it would have the impact that it had on me. But now I'm going back to this movie. I kind of know most of what happens in the movie. I still got to go back to see this movie. It's really something. I even watch pirated copies of the movie, and I'm still going back into the cinema to see the movie. That's how crazy it is. This movie's like that, man. And I didn't do this for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, I wanted to go back in the movie and everything, but I never really was motivated to move into the, you know, see Wonder Woman so many times. I think I saw Suicide Squad, what was it, twice. Wonder Woman I saw 3 times. This movie so far I've seen 4. I'm going into the cinema to see the 5th time. By the end of the day, I think I'm going to see it 7 times, which is going to be more than Man of Steel. And I think it's just that extra difference, that extra thing that it's a collaboration, that somehow this collaboration feels special to me and something I need to witness and just be a part of history in that respect as well. So I really like this movie. You could tell it's a Zack Snyder movie because a Zack Snyder movie gets panned by the critics, you know, and you could tell Zack Snyder's style from beginning to end. You know, we're going to talk about Wonder Woman. I have some problems with it, but I got to go myself. See you, bro. Yeah, man. Peace to you. Peace to all of y'all. Shout out to all my subscribers and all my peoples. Don't forget to talk good about the movie. Keep on sharing the movie with other people. And also, as a person, I hope that you will be a beacon of light to somebody else who may be in the dark, to inspire them. Small thing like a smile or a little assistance with somebody. You don't have to do it in terms of money. Shout out. Salute to y'all. See you later. Yeah. Yeah, baby.